Probably firstly, probably useful just talking a little bit about people puzzles. We're a collection of about 60 portfolio people directors who have all had successful corporate careers, but now want to work with clients in the real sort of small and medium-sized ambitious enterprise sort of space. I myself have over, I hate saying this, over 30 years experience. I only look 21, and sort of more recently in senior global HR roles, particularly with sort of NASDAQ listed companies. And so there aren't many things that I haven't seen until recently using Zoom. I've seen more things that I probably don't ever want to see. But when we think about people in our business, we think about how do you align your people for success? So Tim mentioned it earlier on, and certainly Henry and Jen have mentioned some points of it as well. But there is so much we can actually learn from sport. So I don't know whether you remember these guys. This is the men's 8 gold medal winners from Rio 2016. And the reason why I particularly picked that team is usually your team size is between 5 and 8. So this is a really good example of the numbers of people within a team. And I remember watching these guys win their gold medal and at that time thinking, actually, what has their win taught me? And these guys were prepared. They were synchronized, they were unified, they were engaged, they had a common purpose, they were focused, they were completely dedicated, but above all, they were aligned on what the task was. And individually, they were strong, but collectively, they were amazing. And it really reminded me at the time of the Vincent Lombardi quote, which was around individual commitment to a group effort or goal. That is what makes a team work, a company work, a society work, and a civilization work. And that actually is quite impactful when we start to think about how do you create alignment. And in thinking about creating alignment, it goes back to something that Tim said earlier on, which is about the why. It always starts with the why. It always starts with what is the purpose. And a company's purpose has to be a bold affirmation of its reason for being. It's got to convey what the organization stands for in terms of historical, ethical, emotional, or practical terms. But no matter how well it's communicated to its employees and customers, a company's purpose has got to be the driving force that enables the company to define its true brand and create its desired culture. It must inspire your staff to do good work for you and find a way to express the company's impacts in the lives of its customers, clients, students, patients, whatever the group is that you're trying to serve. There's a regeneration company I've worked for in the past that have a very simple purpose, and they just say, from challenging sites, we create great places for the benefit of society. And that was really impactful for me because they took sites around disused railway stations and turned it into places for people to live, to work, and to relax in as well, and really added that benefit back to society. And you've got to think, though, about how do you align that purpose into your company, into everything that you do. And that's about thinking about your strategic pyramid. So once you've defined your purpose, you need to follow on from that with a vision statement. And that statement should say what the organization wishes to be like in some years' time. It needs to take the thinking beyond the day-to-day activity in a clear and memorable way. For instance, Ericsson defines its vision as being the prime driver in an all-communicating world. There's also then the mission, which describes what the business, what the company is and what it isn't, both now and projecting into the future as well. And that is the aim to provide some focus for management and for staff. So a consulting firm might define its mission by the type of work it does, clients it caters for, and the level of service it provides. One of the things that I'm often asked, though, is what comes first, does mission or vision? And simply put, and this is really simply put, in an established company, the vision statement is often led by the mission and by strategic future plans. In a startup, it's often the right thing to do is to formulate the vision statement first, and it will guide the mission statement and the rest of your strategic plans. Moving then on to values. Values, we've heard quite a lot about values, but values describe the culture. So as Coca-Cola puts it, they serve as a behavioural compass. And Coke's values are quality, excellence, integrity, and respect. So if values provide the compass, behavioural principles give employee a set of directions about how they need to act and to behave in terms of bringing these values to life. So, for example, in the Coke case on quality, they have a behavioural principle which says safety for all, by all, and in every situation. So it's really, really clear what they expect from a certain behavioural principle around safety. Next in our pyramid here is your strategy. So that's about crafting a strategy to achieve the mission, the vision, and the purpose. So you move the company along the intended path. The strategy can be articulated through a set of key strategic pillars with the intent of giving a 3-year view. And then finally, it's all about how do we move this into action. So that's about what the key objectives and activities that will move the company along the intended path in the near term, that 1-year plan. And these should always flow into your team objectives and individual objectives and goals. And then finally, there's always this piece about monitoring developments, evaluating performance, and initiating corrective actions. And I would always recommend that you think about doing that in 90-day cycles. Most people can manage and think forward in 90 days, and obviously look back over the last 90 days as well. So why does this all matter? So having that strategic pyramid really helps to crystallize views about the company's long-term direction. It reduces the risk of rudderless decision-making by management at all levels. It's also a tool for winning the support for employees to help make the purpose and the vision of the company a reality. It becomes a beacon for, if you do have some layering in your organisation, those lower level managers to think about what does it mean at a departmental level for them as well. And it really helps prepare the organisation for the future. But key to all of this is leadership. And you need great leadership to bring this to life and join the dots up for people and to inspire them as well. So, there are really 4 key traits that I believe of great leadership. So first of all, great leadership finds purpose. They create the journey. They ensure there's a relentlessly shared purpose, an agreed common vision that they get everybody rallied around. They make sure there's clarity on roles, responsibilities, accountabilities, and ensure that everybody is focused on the right things so that they're energized and they collaborate to achieving the company's overall goal and purpose. Great leaders also put people first, so they realise that they're actually nothing without the people around them. And there's this thing that I talk about, which is, we're all humans to be fulfilled and not capital to be deployed. And actually, if you think about fulfilling people, you will gain, and treat them well, you gain their respect and you gain their loyalty from that. A great leader also focuses on shunning complexity and making things super simple. And that's really important when I come to talk about in a minute about talent and talent in the right places. Great leader also listens and develops understanding, particularly with teams and the people whom they serve. I mean, there really is nothing more personal from leadership. Most of us, I assume, will have had a bit of a corporate life, have worked for somebody else, and either have had good experience with your leader or a bad experience with your leader, but that leadership relationship is pretty personal. So a great leader takes time to understand individuals. They establish what they're passionate about, their aspirations. They think about the strengths and help people with their development areas. They understand the team dynamics as well. And, ideally, we want them to create a safe to say environment so that you get the honesty and opinion back so that people can come to you and identify issues or concerns. And that directly links back to Tim's point earlier on around turning the ship around. Great leaders obviously finally recognise that their performance is built on the performance of those around them. So leadership is all about clear vision, followership, and influence. And a leader who can do this will create a team who are emotionally engaged and connect to the business. And every company needs great leaders to keep the bus going. And having these qualities will enable business success. A great leader will also identify the right people, those who share the core values and who thrive in the culture. And it's so important to get the right people in the right seats. And if they're not, I know you will be frustrated, they will be frustrated, and as a result, you will never be able to completely delegate or elevate. And you'll always be forced to do their work, and really, you'll not be able to let go of that sort of particular vine that you're having to hold on to. So in order for somebody to be in the right seat to step up and to ultimately fill the opening you've created for them, they must get it, they must want it, and they must have the capacity to do the job. And if any one of these three things is a no, it's never going to happen. Well, 99% of the time, it's never going to happen. I'll come back to that in just a second. So what do I mean by get it, want it, and has the capacity to do it? So first of all, get it is all about, do they have the neuron connections in their brain when you're explaining things, and do they actually get, actually do the job? Do they get the ins and the outs of the position? Not everybody though gets it, and that's not a bad thing. They might just be in the wrong seat, in the wrong role. They might just need to be in a different seat or different role in your business. Second of all, wanting is all about, do they generally want to do the job? Do they get up every morning wanting to do it? You can't pay or motivate or force or even beg somebody to want to do it. I know I've tried with a 14-year-old. They have to want to do it on their own. And sometimes people get it and they have the capacity to do it, but they just don't want it anymore. And sometimes that's going to lead you to forcing you to have a conversation with them about their future. And finally, capacity. So that's about, do people have the mental and physical capacity, and do they have the time, the knowledge, and the emotional capacity to do their job? Sometimes this is the one that is negotiable. While not getting it or wanting it, for me, are absolute deal killers, a problem with capacity can be solved, although rarely. So if you believe that the person can gain the capacity and you are willing to invest the time, the resources, and the energy for them to do so, then do it. It's just that most growing companies don't have the luxury of waiting 1 to 3 years for someone to gain the capacity, and they need the seat filled completely now. And when you do have the right people in the right seats, make sure you set the performance bar and manage performance with the 3-strike rule. So 3 strikes and you're out. Sometimes also, when we are making hiring decisions, we may have that niggling doubt, even though the individual might have performed well through assessment process, through interview, but you just still got a niggling doubt. My recommendation is, when in doubt, don't hire. Hiring is part science and it's part art. And if you've got that doubt, don't hire. Hire slow, fire fast. Also, when you know you need to make a change, act, and act quickly. And then finally, always put your best people on your biggest opportunities. That's absolutely crucial. So I think hopefully you found that insight helpful. I know I've counted through a little bit, but just to recap my 5 top tips. Have a clear purpose. Ensure that this is articulated through a strong strategic pyramid so the golden thread runs through everything. Communicate the pyramid well and widely, and make sure if you do have other leaders, they are absolute advocates of it. Make sure all your leaders display the 4 key traits. That's around ensuring there's a relentlessly shared purpose. They put people first, they shun complexity, and they listen to develop understanding. And finally, have the right people in the right seats. And we at People Puzzles can help you with all of that. We help busy CEOs and MDs to focus on their key deliverables and strategy by taking away the time and the stress of dealing with people problems. So if you see you'll see in the corner there's our website address. You can go on the website address. There is a link within the website where you can click on for a free health check, and you can meet somebody like myself or myself, and we can think about ways in which we can help improve your business performance through your people. So thank you very much for your time.